So 5 different types of knowledges, right, that you have to consider. The Mati Gyan, including mind. Second one is Shrut Gyan. It is nothing but the knowledge revealed by the scriptures. Third one is Avdhi Gyan, which is nothing but the clairvoyant perception. Fourth one is Maha Paryay Gyan, that is telepathic knowledge. And the last one is the Keval Gyan. It's a temporal knowledge or omniscience, right? So these are the 5 different types of knowledges you can have, right, as the types of knowledge. Fine. Now, the first one is Mati Gyan. Mati Gyan. Right, so it is a perception through activity of sense organs. Activity of sense organs, including the mind. Including the mind. Second one is the Shrut Gyan. Shrut Gyan. Second one is called Shrut Gyan, that is knowledge revealed by scriptures. Knowledge revealed third one is Avdhi Gyan. Third one is Avdhi Gyan. So CLAIRVOYANT, clairvoyant knowledge, clairvoyant perception. Right. So here obviously what could be the clairvoyant? What is this? Divya Drushti. Divya Drushti. Right. That is clairvoyant. The fourth kind of knowledge is Mana Paryay Jnana. Mana Paryay Jnana. What is this one? It is nothing but the telepathic knowledge. Telepathic knowledge. Telepathic knowledge. Then fifth one is Keval Gyan. Keval Gyan. It's a omniscience. Omniscience, right? So you can consider the omniscience as the temporal knowledge as well, right? Temporal knowledge as well. Fine. So omniscience or okay, simply I can write here omniscience, knowing everything, right? Sarvarnyata. Sakaz Maiti. Right. So these are the 5 different types of knowledge you can consider as far as Jainism is concerned. Right. These are very, very essential things. Right. Now, there was a theory called Sadvada. Right. Sadvada, that is theory of maybe, theory of perhaps. See, all our judgments are necessarily relative or conditional. Right. So according to Sadvada, even the modes of prediction are possible. So the absolute affirmation and absolute negation both are wrong. So all the judgments are always conditional. So Sadvada is also known as Anekantvada. That is the theory of pluralism, plurality or multi-sideness. Right. So there had been a theory of maybe or perhaps. Right. So if you have finished, okay, you can. I will go to the next page. What Jainism is telling. Jainism is telling about a Sadvada or Anekantvada. That is nothing but theory of maybe or theory of perhaps. Okay. So here you can have Sadvada, right, which is nothing but theory of maybe or theory of perhaps. Right. Just a minute. So Sadhuvada, that is theory of maybe or perhaps. Right. So it is also known as Anekant Vada. Right. So that is theory of plurality or multi-sideness. So what do you understand? What you should understand of Sadhuvada or Anekantavada? Right. So here you should always understand that our judgments are necessarily, right? Judgments are necessarily multi-dimensional or multi-plural, right? So that is relative, conditional, and limited. So every judgment is limited. So here you have this one, right? So according to Sadhuvada, there have been 7 modes of, according to information, and absolute affirmation. No doubt, affirmation will out to carry out the efforts, to take the efforts day by day will make you more channelized, make you more focused. Will be starting doing everything in regard of this affirmation. Sorry, you can write affirmation, right? But see, only affirmation, right? Every time you will be just trying to say that you will be, so that would not remain as affirmation, right? At the same time, if someone said that affirmation na kota kaya hota, so again this kind of business, absolute affirmation and absolute negation, both are wrong. Right? So no doubt everyone must have some of the affirmations, right? Definitely. So this will be the case you can always consider, and therefore all the judgments are always conditional, right? So this is what you can consider about theory of maybe or perhaps. Right. Now the principles of Jainism as preached by Mahavir, right? So principles of Jainism preached by right. So you have the principles of Jainism as preached by Mahavir. What is the meaning of preached? Preaching उपदेश केला, right? So Mahaviran's उपदेश, that is called the principles of Jainism. So what are the principles of Jainism as preached by Mahavira, right? So very first one here, the rejection of the authority of Vedas and Vedic rituals, right? In those days, you know why these movements how he emerged, because the purity of Veda was losing, right? So purity was being lost. So rejected, very first preaching, rejected the authority of the Vedas and Vedic rituals. And Vedic rituals. That was the first preach. Second is did not believe in the existence of God. Right. Did not believe in the existence of the God. Did not believe in the existence of the God. Then believed in karma and transmigration of soul. Right. That is, if he is not believing in the existence of God, then believe in karma. And obviously the transmigration of soul. Of soul. Okay. And the last one is right. Led great emphasis on equality. On equality. Right. So this is what. And later on you will come across Jain literature. Jain literature. Right. So there had been a sacred literature of Shwetambaras written in the type of Prakrit. Right. So as like Buddhism was in Pali, here it is in Prakrit. So at that time I must have told you that you will come across one more language that is called Prakrit. Right. It is also called as Ardhamagadi Prakrit. Right. And it may be classified as the Jain literature may be classified as Angas, Upangas, then Parikarmas, Cheda Sutras, Mool Sutras, Sutra Granthas. Right. So this would be the division or classification of Jain literature. Right. So beside this, there had been some other important Jain text called Kalpa Sutra, which is in Sanskrit. Right. Then Bhadrabahu Charita, Parishishta Parvan. Right. So these are some of the other texts you can always consider as far as the Jain literature is concerned. Right. So the sacred literature written in Prakrit. Right. And it was classified, it is classified as there had been 12 angas. There had been 12 upangas. There are 10 parikarnas, right? Parikarnas. There have been 6 Cheda Sutras. There are 4 Mula Sutras. See, these are the titles. Right, you need not to worry about what exactly. And 2 Sutra Granthas. Right. So 12 angas, 12 upangas, 10 parikarnas, 6 Cheda Sutras, 4 Mula Sutras, and 2 Sutra Granthas. Right. So besides this, right, there had been some other text, other Jainism text, right? So Kalpa Sutra, it is in Sanskrit, right? Then Bhadrabhavu Charita and एक दो, so Bhadrabhavu Charita, and third one is the Parishishta Paravan. Parishishta Paravan. Right. So these are the literatures called Jain literatures. It has their Sutta Pitaka, right? Likewise, here you can have these as Angas and Upangas, right? Okay, if you are finished, then sects of Jainism, right? So there was a serious famine in Magad, leading to a great exodus of many Jain monks to the Deccan and South India, along with Bhadrabhavu and Chandragupta Maurya. So they returned back after 12 years, and the leader of the group which stayed back at Magad was Stulbhadra. So when Jains, that is Bhadrabhavu and others, returned from South India, they held that complete nudity be an essential part of teachings of Mahavira. Right, you know, complete nudity. So depending on this, now you do have 2 kinds of sects, right? So while the monks in Magad begin to put on a white cloth, so thus 2 sects called Shwetambaras with white cloth or clad, and Digambaras, that is sky clad. Right. So Shwetambaras are those who put on white robes, and Digambaras those who wear stark naked. Right. So depends on nudity. Right. Probably you must have finished this. So sects of Jainism. Sects of Jainism. Right. So So 2, okay, I will directly write Shwetambaras, Shwetambaras, right? That is those who put on white robes, right? White. That is Stulbhadra and Digambaras. That is those who were stark naked. So, two kinds of, there have been three sects, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Here, two sects, Shwetambaras and Digambaras. Fine. So there have been, we have considered the sacred shrines, right, or different kinds of architecture, stupas, right. Then vihar, likewise, monasteries, right. Likewise here, the architecture of Jainism, right? Architecture of Jainism. So what kind of architecture you do have? So here you have gumpas, all right, that is caves. Udayagiri and Khandgiri. So these are the most famous, right? Apart from these, there are some other there, right? Then Dilwara temple. Then there is a temples of Girnar and Palitana, right? In Gujarat, Girnar temple, right? Then there have been temples at Pavapuri, that is Pavapuri temple or Rajgraha temple in Bihar. Then statue of Gomteshwar, Bahubali, right? That is at Shravan Belgola. So these are the examples of architecture, right? So first one is Gumphas, that is caves, right? So example, Uday, Giri, and Khandgiri. Udaygiri and Khandgiri. Where it is? It is in Orissa. Right. Then next one is Dilwara temple. Dilwara temple. Right. So second one you can consider is Dilwara temple. So the temple, the Tejpal temple at, its example is Tejpal temple at Mount Abu. Right, where it is in Rajasthan. Then the temples. What kind of temples? For example, Girnar temple. Right, Girnar temple. Where it is? In Gujarat. Then the temples which are like the Pavapuri temple, or Rajgraha temple. Rajgraha temple. And then statue of Gomteshwar. Statue of Gomteshwar. Where it is? It is at Shravan Bel Gola. It is in Karnataka. It is in Karnataka. Right. Now, as like there had been different patrons we have come across in Buddhism. So here, who had been the different patrons, right, in the Jainism, right? So patrons. So again, there you can have two parts: Buddhism at south of India and Buddhism at north to India. So here lies again, here again, you have two kinds of patrons: the patrons from North India, patrons from North India, right, and the patrons of South India. So patrons in North India and patrons in South India. So who were the patrons in North India? You know, Nandas, right? We have considered, yes, I think we have considered Nandas. Then Bimbisar, Ajatashatru, Udayan, right? So from Haryanka dynasty. Then later on, Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar, right? Who belong to the Maurya period. You will be coming across these, right? So here, Nanda, Bimbisar, Ajatashatru. Though Ajatashatru had been convened the first Buddhist council, but he was also patron of the Jainism as well, right? Then Chandragupta, Maurya, right? Bindusar, right? Then from Avanti, there had been Pradyota, right? Pradyota by Avanti. Then later on, last one I think, Kharvela, right? I don't know how it had been gone to north. It is at Kalinga. And second part is South India. South India. Right. So there had been a Ganga dynasty who had patron of Jainism, Kadam dynasty, Amogh Varsha dynasty, which called Rashtrakuta dynasty, Rashtrakuta dynasty, right? Then Chalukya and Solanki, Chalukya dynasty, right? So the great patrons of Jainism, right? These had been great patrons of Jainism, right? Now see, there had been two councils of Jainism. The first one is at Patliputra, which was patronized by Chandragupta Maurya, and second is at Vallavi, right? That is I don't know his name, who is the patronized. But first one is 300 BC, that is in the Maurya period by Chandragupta, in which the compilation of 12 Angas had been there. And second is in 5 Vamsi,